All right, let's preview this weekend's PGA Championship with New York Post columnist and golf writer Mark Cannizzaro. Mark, live from Louisville, Kentucky. Thanks for hopping on with us. When we talk PGA Championship, we love it because some of the biggest names in golf are headlining some marquee matchups and groups. Let's start with the current number one, Scottie Scheffler. Is this his tournament to lose?
Well, I mean, he's been the most dominant player in the game, Brandon. Obviously, he's won 4 out of his last 5 starts, and the one that he didn't win was a runner-up, and he missed a 6-footer with a chance to send it to a playoff. So he was that close to being 5 in a row coming in this week. Now, he hasn't played in 3 weeks. Obviously, he stayed home last week. He skipped the Wells Fargo in Charlotte to be with his wife, who gave birth to their first child, a young baby boy. And is now back. We spoke to him yesterday. He said he practiced at home a little bit. The column I wrote in today's Post is just how utterly unflappable this guy is. I don't even think having a newborn, on Saturday on the eve of a major championship is going to affect him. So I suspect he's going to play really well this week. It's also a good course for him. He's relatively long. He does everything well. He's one of the best ball strikers in the game. So if he's not up there on Sunday afternoon, evening, with a chance to win this thing, I'll be very surprised.
I'm surprised this man's getting sleep. As a first-time dad myself, I don't know if I could go out and play in a PGA Championship like Scottie, but that's why he's number one. Another guy.
I throw this to you, Brandon. He's probably getting more sleep this week while he's away from home. Yeah. Even though it's a championship, major championship week, than he will be when he gets back home. Let's put it that way.
Another guy whose name's been trending, but not because of his golf game, is Rory McIlroy. Everyone knows this man needs to win a major, and he's done it at this course before, Valhalla. Is Rory feeling the pressure to finally win another major?
Well, it's interesting. Rory's got a lot of stuff swirling around him other than those obvious things on the golf course. He just filed for divorce this week down in Florida, where he lives, from his wife of 7 years. The last time he won a major championship was here at this venue in 2014. A very interesting and kind of, if you will, bizarre dynamic is in 2014, he had announced that he was splitting from Caroline Wozniacki, the tennis player that he was engaged to. And the tournament at which he announced that split was the BMW in England. And he went on to win that week. And then he ended up winning the British Open that summer, and by the way, this tournament here, the PGA Championship. So I think that Rory is this course is made for him. He's historically done well on courses that he's done well on previously, and he's also coming off of a dominant victory in Charlotte this past Sunday, won by I believe 6 shots, and at Quail Hollow at the Wells Fargo. Where he's won also multiple times. So I think there's a lot of signs that point to this being a big week for Rory, and he's one of the longest, best drivers in the game. This is a big, brawny golf course with not a lot of tree trouble, whatnot. So I think this week is going to benefit the long hitter, particularly since we've had a bit of rain, and it's supposed to continue to rain a bit this week. That makes the course even play longer because there's no roll. So I think there's just a lot of things that favor Rory going into this tournament. And I think, again, like Scottie, I'd be shocked if he's not at least in the mix come Sunday.
You got one guy coming back from paternity leave. You got another guy coming back after filing for divorce. The PGA Championship has become its own little reality show, per se. And now you throw this name in, Tiger Woods competing this weekend. What's his mindset heading into the weekend? Do you think that he can make another major cut?
Well, I asked him specifically yesterday because we were talking to Max Homa, who played the first 2 rounds with him at Augusta at the Masters in April, and Homa was raving about the way Tiger still hits the ball, the things he can still do on the golf course, and obviously Tiger, he ended up making the cut at Augusta, but he ended up finishing last out of the 6 players that were, that did make 60 players that made the cut that week. So. I asked Tiger, I said, is it a little bit of a tease? Do you still feel like you have that golf in you to win again? And yesterday when we spoke to him, and he said he really does believe that. I think that's a little bit of, as they say, whistling past the graveyard, kind of thing. And listen, all great athletes still think they can do it until it's proven they can't. And Tiger can still hit the shots. I mean, I've seen him. I've stood feet away from him and watched him hit the shots. He still does otherworldly things. The question for Tiger is, can he do it for 4 days and have his body and his legs withstand and his back withstand, a decently hilly course here. It's going to be wet. It's going to be a bit of a slog. All of that stuff takes, is it draining, not just physically, but mentally. And I just don't see Tiger having 4 rounds into it being contention. I can see him making the cut, but I just don't see him being a factor.
All right, we know about the favorites. Let's talk about some of these sleepers. Who are some of the names that we should keep an eye on who could be in contention come Sunday?
Well, I'm going to throw a couple of names out that aren't really sleepers, but they're really significant storylines this week, Brandon. One of whom is Brooks Koepka, who's won 3 of these things, including last year. And he also just won his last event on the Live Golf Tour, at which he plays, a couple of weeks ago in Singapore. So he comes in hot. You've got Jordan Spieth, who just needs a PGA Championship to complete the career Grand Slam, which only 5 players in the history of the game have done, having won all 4 majors. He's in the mix. I think he just showed a little shot of Colin Morikawa, who has won this thing as well, and is not in great form, but he's not to be discounted. One name I will throw out there, and until he wins a major, he'll be kind of a quote unquote dark horse, is a guy named Ludwig Oberg. It looks like Aberg, but it's Oberg. He is this young 22-year-old stud who was very much in the mix at the Masters, and he is the next big thing here in the game of golf right now. And then I could see him having a big week this week.
Definitely want to keep my eye on him. It's going down this weekend for the PGA Championship. Mark, thanks for joining us, man.
Good deal. Thanks for having me, Brandon.